kind of make it so you couldn't really swipe it, efficiently. So when he returned home, his wife Dorothea was using a flat iron to iron clothes, and when he explained his inability to get the tape to stick to the plastic in a way that would work, she suggested that he use an iron to melt the stripe onto the card. He tried it, and it worked, and that became basically what a very big part of credit cards. Before that, it was the thing where you kind of run the machine over it, and they were, like I said, they were made like dog tags, so the numbers were raised, which also made it easier for theft. Which they still are raised for some of them, but not a lot of the newer ones you see, credit cards. But this guy also, fun fact, created barcodes. He's also the reason like we have barcodes. So this guy Forrest Perry, there should be a lot more documentaries about him. And that is how card-based transactions happened. And now it's time for the roundup. The roundup. The roundup. And we're going to round it up. People have been trading things with no value that are connected to things that have value for at least 10,000 years. Credit cards were being mentioned in futuristic novels as early as the 1800s. The Bank America card from Bank of America is the first national credit card. It would go on to become Visa. Things I didn't know before. And now I know them. Never heard of these things. What are they? All right, things I didn't know. The first one is pretty interesting. Doesn't have much to do at all with what we're talking about, but like that's usually how it happens with these things I didn't know. I'm just looking for stuff, and then I find other stuff. But I find out that in 1920, in 1920, Western Union introduced what's called the Telex network, which was a communication system that would allow users to exchange and print telegraphs using automated machines. And so like basically you could this was like the pioneer for like the modern like SMS like messaging system. And oddly enough, like where those like the terms THX for thanks and the little like less than symbol with the 3 beside it to make a heart, those were all originally used to communicate via telex before we ever had actual text message. So I saw that while I was looking this stuff up, and I was like, wow, it's pretty wild. So the second one is there's the chip on your card. Everyone's chipping it these days. The chip on your card, it has a name, and it's called an EMV chip. I'm sure you probably heard that, right? But you're like, what does that even mean? I just thought it was some scientific stuff. Turns out it's just the names of the most standard like credit card payment systems out in the world. There's Europay, MasterCard, and Visa. That's what the EMV chip. That's what the EMV and chip stands for. Didn't know that. And let's see, the last one that I'll mention. I saw this on a Frontline documentary that I was watching, and they were talking about how the people in the credit card industry view the people who pay their bills off every month, like completely off, and they say they view them as like deadbeats. And the ones that don't are called revolvers. The people who just have like revolving credit, so they have like names for them. I don't know. It never occurred to me that there would be like nomenclature for all these people out here with their credit card bills. All right, thanks for tuning in for another episode of HDTH. Always like finding out how things happened. This week it was credit cards. I thought that was pretty interesting. I think it's when you really delve into it or dive into it, or whichever D word you choose to go in there. It's pretty wild what these companies are doing out here, but that's not really what this podcast is about. But I just thought I would just show what I found. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for the week. Like and subscribe where you can, definitely. And if you have anybody that you're thinking about that you want me to profile for Bite Size Bios, mention it on, throw it up on the Twitter page, and we'll see what we can find. See you guys next week.